Yeah. Young Satoshi. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Dragonchain, 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 Dragonchain. Mine 10 blocks on a blockchain. My ETH father for the got paid. These dragons selling like they hotcakes. We go to the moon like we don't got breaks. If you want to transact on a marketplace, Dragonchain, Dragonchain, Dragonchain. Dragonchain, 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 Dragonchain. Mine 10 blocks on a blockchain. My ETH father for the got paid. These dragons selling like they hotcakes. We going to the moon like we don't got breaks. If you want to transact on a marketplace, Dragonchain, Dragonchain, Dragonchain. My ETH costs more than your rent. I spend my life savings, get a 10. Dragons get the hottest coming next. Me and Joe Rose making bets. All this shit seem new to me. Fix a blockchain with security. Keeping data safe is the fluency. How could you not fuck with the company?
All right, welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky. This is the Dragonchain Update Show. This is episode 0x157, which is pronounced 1x57. It's hex. That's the 344th episode, which is over 6 years of weekly AMA. Reminder, nothing on the show is financial advice, and I'm not suicidal. Stay tuned after the updates for an AMA. Which is the weekly. You can get 3 questions in. You have time right now to get them in before we refresh the page. First off, in Dragonchain updates, last week distribution of the Super Happy Dragon Lucky distribution lot for the Dragonchain layer. There were 470 lot produced, 2 questions, 117 each. Host received 117 and Dragonchain received 118. To, I guess, round out the amount. Is that right? Does that add up right? I don't even know. I don't even know if that, whatever. You can look anywhere. The patent portfolio tokenization update. We can, let me move this out of the way. Sorry. I should realize that's on the background still. New development and status. We have, a lot of, well, how do I say? I guess I could hit the network side first. We're getting active deployments. So if you have a project out there that you could use a node, now would be the time to reach out. We could let you run a node in the early phases if you're talking on the business side. Verification nodes will be going out when we roll the whole thing out, and it'll be a lot easier to install them, a lot easier to run them on whatever hardware you want, and a lot easier to maintain them as well. So all positive developments there. The smart contract systems, we have at least a couple that are rolling out right now in, I would say they're beta. There is one production system that will be moving soon to the new business nodes, and they'll have a new name, by the way, so you can wait for that. And let's see here on the incubator side, I'm trying to remember all of the old naming versus the new naming. I'm not going to give you any of the new naming generally, but that on the incubator side, we have a lot of new pieces that are starting to make sense, and we should hopefully get the entire document out soon, or at least when we're ready to roll everything out, and it'll be exciting. So anyway, lots of developments there. I've said it before, patent portfolio, I still have to go in there and edit some of that. There's definitely some edits to make, but we might be able to release it sooner than the other documents. And that's it, I guess. So let's go to Den updates. So first of all, in Den.DAO news, was there a meeting? Yes, there was a meeting yesterday. Sorry, I missed it, William, if you're here. Good morning also. Let's see here. I'll get to questions in the chat very soon as well. So Den.DAO updates, that was the meeting. Always go in there and make sure that you know that you can join the meeting. If, unlike me, you are paying attention to the calendar, and you can also, you don't have to have your camera on, and it's just a meeting. No new info. But this is the place that you could put anything you want to talk about in a reply, either agenda, questions, or whatever else. So thanks a bunch for having that, William. And there is, by the way, some development. I need to talk to you, William, as soon as we can. And there are a couple of even new developments that might help out with what we're talking about doing on Den. So all good stuff, and pay attention for updates. Okay, next we go to World Blockchain Roundtable. Last week's show was systems that should use blockchain and not centralized databases. It was episode 249. Sure, it was a good episode. I wasn't there. Apologies if I had too much work to do. And then this week's episode, which is what if a blockchain DAO became a cabinet position at the White House? Episode 250, even number 250. That's like a, what's the name for that? I can't remember. There's a name for that. Anyway, let's see for any questions. You have time right now to get questions in. Okay. All William. William has it cornered. So cornered the market on questions today. If you can go in there and challenge him and try to get some votes, I'll look through and maybe, well, I usually vote everything the same on them. Maybe I shouldn't do that. We'll see. Okay. So watch that today. Make sure you get a question in. Next, we go to the Meme Asylum updates. So Meme Asylum experiment, which is a super interesting project. And you can go through here and see total ECT minted is over $1 billion, which is right now worth about 1.8 million. Total burned is 624 million, which is 58% of all of the ECT ever minted has been burned, which is by design, right? And it's a cyclical thing. It's pretty cool. Let's look at the tokens. So DPro, which is currently, darn it, why can't I see the multiplier? It's so frustrating. I need the multiplier. Anyway, so there were 69 million minted, 62 million have been burned. There's only 7 million left. 88.9% burned. That's crazy. GOI, 167 million, 142 million of that burned. There's only 25 million remaining, which is 85%. I think it's at a 4x, I'm pretty sure. Trumpinen, there were 462 million. There is only, let's see, 300 million burned, 166 million remain. That's 64%. So it's at a 2x at least. And watch for the NFTs. There's some really cool stuff going on. Let's go double check. Let's go see if we can see it right here. And I wish my screen was bigger on this. It makes it kind of hard. So we'll go into the therapy, and I think we can find it there. Past winners. It doesn't say it here either. It should tell us if it's 8x, right? Or whatever it is. Okay, so Chicken Swinger still at 1x. It's still in minting phase. I think there is, let's look. This is important. There are 7 days, a whole week left of minting. So it'll be a week from now, sometime in the afternoon on the Thursday, that the timer will run out and you will never again be able to mint Chicken Swinger. And it's important because this is the only place that the people who enjoy the GOI, where's it at? There it is. The GOI coin can place their sins on each swing token and then burn them. Sorry, it's funny. It's very funny to me. So let's go look. We will look at, I think that, yeah, okay. So Trumpinen just got a 2x. I think thanks to Lee, I'm pretty sure. So make sure that you pay attention to that one. Trust the Plan GOI is at a 4x. Excellent. Trust the Plan GOI is at 4x. And let's see here, Dog and Padded Room is at an 8x, right? And it has to be getting close to a 16x, which will be an amazing thing to see. there's not very much of that left. So anyway, go in there and pay attention to all the meme asylum stuff. There's some really cool stuff coming. I think there's going to be something interesting coming in the next cycle, the next therapy session. And I think that there's also see, I wasn't even showing you. I opened up this page, and I apologize for that. You guys weren't even following me all the way through it, but you heard it. Verbal works, I guess. But pay attention there. There's something coming in the new cycle, I think. Pretty sure. We're planning to do it anyway. And also when the NFTs or the character cards launch, there's going to be some really interesting, crazy interactions with those assets that come on. And they'll be using Dracaria text. They'll all be unique. And, most of them will look pretty unique, but mostly it'll be in the traits and the values, skills. So pretty cool stuff. And make sure you're following the Meme Asylum experiment, which is Meme Asylum X on X. It's where all the announcements happen. Also, I would say you should follow we maybe ought to get the list up here, but the Goicoin, D-Pro, and Trumpinen and Swing all have their own accounts, and those are starting to grow. So it'd be a smart thing to follow those as we progress through all the multipliers. Pretty fun stuff, pretty cool. I'm really excited for Swing coming out, or getting out there and doing stuff, so it'll be fun. Next, we'll go to Dracaria, where if we look at the spawn, it has just closed yesterday. The next spawn opens in just under 2 weeks, in 13 days. And 1 hour, right? There will only be 460 eggs in the next cycle. It's algorithmically determined. The price did go up $1 to $38, but 460. So the price goes up depending upon how much is sold. You can look at the white paper, how many spawned as a percentage, and the supply goes up or down depending on how many eggs are spawned. So there's always a minimum of 100, and anything above that, there's a multiplier. So for I think it's every 20% in 5 buckets, that you get a 2x, 3x, 4x, and 5x. So say the mechanism and the algorithm was really interesting, because when it shrinks, there's a bigger chance that the multipliers will increase, because the next season, if we sell totally out of all the spawned eggs, 460 eggs, then you're going to end up with 5x that, which is 2,000 something, and the multiplier on the price will go up 10%, which in this case would be $3.80. So you're talking like $4 more. It might hit 42 if this all sells out. So the algorithmic price is pretty cool, and it's been pretty stable so far, because we didn't have a lot of high and then low on it. Let's look real quick at community. So a few hatches coming up: Native Earth, Fire Dragon. Oh, that's a pretty cool Earth Dragon that had just recently hatched. Check this one out. This one, Ginger Prince, good hatch. It's all fire, 100% fire. But the crazy thing, look at this. It was spawned in fire of season of age 1, and it hatched in fire of age 2. So this wasn't like something that just hatched in the same season, which you might expect. And look at this, almost 3 celestial magic, really high. The rarity was 49, so it was a very common, which is fire. I'd have to let's look at it. Why not? Let's look at, whoa. Yeah, that's even, when you look at it in a bigger screen, that's even crazier. Yeah, 2.5 million, that's why. 2.5 million egg density. So it has unstable magic of 2.9. That is I don't know. That's really cool, if you ask me. So anyway, really good stuff there. Let's look in the marketplace. There are some deals I've seen come through here. So okay, $35 eggs, $33. Those are all pretty good deals. The Scout, which water, air, usually those do look cool in my opinion. Earth, fire sometimes can be really cool. Anyway, there's some good stuff in the marketplace for sure, and some of them are pretty good deals. And there's some cheap used keys. Oh look, an unused. Ah, I didn't get one. I really wanted to get one of these fire keys because they were pretty cool. But this one, a Tempest for $500, probably a really good deal because it's a water, fire, Tempest, and 247 rarity. It has a pretty common egg density, so it's going to hatch soon, probably. Anyway, nice stuff. Good stuff there. Make sure that you are following Dracaria World on X. And trying to think what else we could do there. What else do I need to talk about? The new age is kicking off, so we haven't set up any sponsorships. If you know anybody that might want to sponsor a season and give something away with the golden egg, I'm hoping that we can set up something and Dragonchain can do one soon. But I don't know if we'll be ready in time for the next season. There's been too much work to do. So, but if we can, we'll do that. And, maybe I don't know what we'll give away from Dragonchain, but could be something cool. And I don't know. Let us know if you know of anybody that might want to sponsor the next season or a season later. If you only want to sponsor a water season or something like that, it's fine too. Okay, let's see here. Next, we have the AMA. Okay, so hopefully you got your stuff in, and I'm going to reload the page. All right, there is the refresh. All right. First message, first question. If you were a solo developer or a small startup today, what Dragonchain feature would you build on first to create real leverage? I guess it depends on interest because it applies everywhere. If I was working in something industrial, I would be putting important info about the systems on chain so that you would have traceability, you would have proof of what happened. If I were a general enterprise, general corporate, I would be putting human behavior on there. I would be incentivizing voluntary human behavior of my employees and my customers, where the things that benefit our goals as a business should be measured, should be recorded, good practice anyway, and yet putting it on chain and rewarding people in a transparent way for doing the good things in a competitive way, likely as well. And then if I were a consumer, like say, I would probably latch on to the gaming stuff with Dracaria and providing real and measurable entropy that is provable, that is, you can talk about entropy from future events or, declared future events. That's essentially one of the biggest innovations that Dracaria has under its belt. You can imagine where you could apply things like the hatching algorithm, that you don't know when something's going to happen, but it's a very fair thing for everyone involved. So anyway, this is a great question. Thank you. Thank you, Free Press. I am has a Dragonchain question. Blockchain still needs that true killer app to drive mass adoption. I believe that AI plus blockchain could finally create it. Have you considered Dragonchain combined with AI as the foundation for such a high utility application? I mean, I would say integration with AI, because AI moves so fast. I would think you would probably want to focus on something where you could use, leverage, wrap, include whatever verb you want there, any AI, local, how do I say, subscription based. You could essentially connect the AI. Let's say for an agent. Let's say for OpenClaw. We should probably make something for OpenClaw where you could, on the one hand, at least record what it's doing and have a way then to highlight the important things for review, right? To make sure that it's not doing stuff that you don't intend, because it's probably, if it's a 24/7 agent, it's probably doing a lot of stuff. And it would be really hard to track, right? So the fact that you could put that on chain and have all the info so that you could go back and fine tune, tell it what you don't want done, things like that. On top of the fact, and we are experimenting with this on one project already, that how do I say this? I can't even remember what the algorithm, or sorry, the acronym we used was, but it was essentially smart contract gated data access. So it was essentially where, let's say I have data in a bubble here, and what we do is we pass any input and any output. So queries on that data, requests to see the data, or writing to the data area inside of that bubble would all go through a smart contract. And therefore, you could have very tight access control, including Web3 based access control. And I wouldn't even have to be Web3. It could just be advanced crypto where I have a key so I can get in, or I have proof that I am of a certain role or credential so I can get in, and maybe I can only read. But the great thing about that is that if it's, let's say it's health data and your doctor went in to read it because you went in for a checkup, it would pop up on your radar and you would know that happened. You'd say, okay, it's legitimate. You makes sense that you would review the charts, the data. Whereas if you were in the hospital and or let's say you're not in a hospital, let's say you are incapacitated, that someone with the proper credentials could, emergency personnel, hospital people could get in there and get your data, and it would pop up later. You would see, okay, they make sense again. However, if you had for some reason someone stalking you, it would pop up and you would know, hey, they're checking my whatever data it is, and they shouldn't be, and it would be provable who did it, everything else. So some important stuff like that. And I would think you would apply that exact same, sorry, it was a long description. You would apply that exact same functionality, except in this case, it wouldn't just be passive data. It would be an agent. It would be AI itself that would be wrapped with that smart contract. And I think that is probably a killer app that needs to be built. We're in the process of working on that on at least one project, and it already fits in. We already have the entire model developed again for that data access use case. So anyway, great question, and that's the last question. So let me vote that up, and then let me look over to the comments today. Let's see here. Okay, I think. All right. All right. So this is from me today. Okay, I've lost access to my Den account. Invalid username, invalid, and I'm also unable to sign up for a new Den account. Okay, so you have a wallet to prove layer ownership. One thing is if you have access to this to the email you signed up with, that's number one. If you have, if you can prove ownership of an already claimed address, Web3 address in the system, then we would be able to trace it back. And we're looking, one of the things that we're going to hit first when we start hitting Den stuff is the auth system. We're going to probably switch it out with the system that we're using on Dracaria, for example, where you just tell it your email address and it sends you a code, and you enter the code and you're in. And we'll probably, hopefully that'll be pretty soon, because we have a lot of other people who have had trouble with the system, and it has something to do with cookies. In the meantime, if you want, you could also clear out all the cookies. You could reach out in the community. I know that William was using some obscure little browser that I'd never even heard of to access it with no issues. So it has something to do with the cookies and tokens that are in the browser. And so most of the time we'll tell people to just totally clear out that, use a new browser, something like that. So I think that's about it. And let's see here. That is all the questions in the chat. And next, all right, we'll go. So, okay, reserve the right to revise and extend my remarks. Each participant will get lot from the Dragonchain layer based upon how many, well, I guess if it was answered, there were only 2 people. So this week, so it's all good. So in closing, make sure you get some Dragonchain merch at dragonchain.store, and also, and if only if you are able, some Dracaria merch. There's some pretty good stuff. I still need to add some things. Sorry, I've been working on the code on a couple of different of the projects. So we've been really busy. Watch us again next week. Super happy Dragon Lucky. Watch the roundtable today in 30 minutes at 1100 Eastern, 1500 UTC, and follow Dragonchain, Real Denizens, Dracaria World, Meme Asylum X, and Jojo Row on X and Den.Social. And that's everything. So see you next week. Hopefully I'll be on the show in 30 minutes also.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.